Discuss the ins, discuss the outs, and let's talk about. Let's talk about. Let's talk about.
Hello everybody. No one has joined me yet. It's the usual kind of moment of me being all by myself, and my first person has joined, so I'm so excited. I'm going to jump straight in today. We have a great episode for you today, so welcome to episode 3 of Let's Talk About the Arts Instagram live series, and this is fast becoming one of my kind of favourite moments of the week. And as I was getting ready, I was kind of thinking, like, I want these chats to be a real opportunity for the artists to kind of show a part of themselves, the human being behind the art that they put out, or in today's case, the company that they have founded. And what's really interesting is in the run-up to these interviews, I kind of get to chat to the artists. I get to have a little call with them. We have a bit of back and forth, and I almost get a preview into what the interview is going to be, which is just so exciting, and it's just really nice to connect with people. So we're going to jump straight in today, because we not only have one guest for you today, we have two. So we have Ross Scanlon and we have Linsey Dempsey from Sing at Work. So Ross and Linsey are two wonderful people who have been on their own personal and unique journeys as singers, performers, teachers, and human beings. And both of their paths have led them to kind of come together and create Sing at Work. So I'm going to let the guys kind of talk to you about what Sing at Work is. It's better to hear it from the horse's mouth. But to give you a little bit of a background, Linsey and Ross are taking one-on-one singing lessons into the corporate world, into the workplace. And they're really focusing on bringing the kind of idea of taking time out for yourself, challenging yourself creatively, giving yourself a bit of headspace away from the desk. And really, they want to become a part of the culture and the community of the workplace. So I just think that that's amazing. It's really like two worlds fusing together, which we love. So one of their main focuses, which I love and is kind of very dear to my heart, and is something that I love to work on personally and to have discussions about, is mental health. So they really want to bring positive mental health to these people that they'll be having these one-on-one connections with, both for them in the workspace and in their kind of life. So we are going to bring Linsey on first. So we're actually going to do this as kind of two little mini interviews, and we are kicking off with the gorgeous Linsey. So I have a request from Linsey, or no, hello everybody who has joined us. Thanks a million for coming. And we're just waiting for it. Here we are. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
You curled your hair. So did I.
I did. We both curled our hair. I love it.
I love it. Great.
Listen, I've got to make the effort. I've got to make the effort.
We all do now.
This is it. It's my moment to dress up during the week. Casual dress up.
How
are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Yeah, I'm really well. I'm excited that you guys have agreed to kind of come on, and I obviously know you guys very well. And I've kind of been on the sidelines of you guys starting to launch this campaign, because I used to live with Ross when you'd have your meetings, and we've done a few behind the scenes works ourselves, which we will hopefully be releasing within the coming months. But today I want to talk about you guys and Sing at Work. Can you give everyone a little bit of a background to who kind of Linsey Dempsey is, but I suppose in particular, what aspects of your life or your career brought you to be on this new path with this new venture, Sing at Work?
So I was very lucky to train here at home in opera, classical singing in the Conservatory of Music and Drama, of which I have very fond memories of yourself.
Yes.
I was fortunate to work with the two main opera companies that were operating here at the time, traveled the world and met and worked with fantastic people. About 11 years ago, I just hit a wall with my performing and my singing. It wasn't just performance anxiety, it was something much deeper and something that required a lengthy journey to work through and resolve.
Mm-hmm.
So as part of that journey, I started to look at ways to help myself. So that came in the form of yoga, CBT, oils, chanting, research, meditation, emotional freedom technique, reading, everything, anything, you name it, I did it.
Yeah.
And one of the things that stood out for me in this time was a therapist that I was doing some work with. She encouraged me to find a spot and not sing, but actually find a quiet spot and just breathe in and make sound. So there was no song, there was no aim, there was just make sound in a quiet spot. I suppose it's quite similar to Om in yoga when you make that
Yeah.
sound together. So it was a really eye-opening thing to do. And
Okay.
yeah, and the benefits of just allowing yourself to make sound, it was incredible. So this got me thinking. That was one of the things that got me thinking about how can I use, now that I wasn't going to sing for a while I was on this journey, I
Yeah.
wanted to still use what I knew and what I had learned to help people further. So that was one thing that got me thinking, how can I use the voice and singing to help people in a much bigger way than the normal teaching. So another factor was I worked in a school here in Dublin that allowed the students to come out of their classrooms in the daytime during school time
Okay.
and have 30-minute lessons in whatever instrument they wanted to learn. And it made the day for them. It broke up their day. It gave them a little lift and they went back to class completely buzzed, ready to hit the afternoon. I remember the teacher saying to me it was just so obvious they had come back from something so enjoyable and it made such a difference in the classroom.
Wow.
Yeah.
So singer work kind of grew from kids from a school environment. Um, Something that sometimes when we know stuff as kids, we actually leave that when we kind of grow up and go into the big bad world, I suppose. So you kind of wanted to bring these ideas and this idea of taking time out of your day to the kind of adult world. Um, is that what your focus was?
Yes, because I saw how much the kids enjoyed it, and I thought to myself, who like it's the grown-ups that are in a more serious world that obviously have the pressures of, big grown-up life to deal with. And one of the places where we really come across this is the workplace. And
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what you do, it's just added stress. It can be. So I
Mm.
thought this is somewhere where I could take this, I could model it, I could, you know, bring it to adults and I could make a real difference.
Yeah. So talk to me about taking time away from your desk. I know that's one of the kind of aspects you bring with Sing at Work. That's one of the kind of benefits you say, um, coming to the one-to-one lessons, taking time away from your desk. Can you talk us through that?
So it's a break in your day, and it's also reminding you of a bit of self-care, which I think a lot of us are very bad. Even though we know it's good for us, even though we know the yoga class is good for us, the gym is good for us, the run is good for us, making the healthy, nutritious meals that we've planned all day is good for us. By the time we get home from work, most of that goes out the door. And for a lot of people,
Yeah.
by the time you get home from work, you're into your home life, which can be your children, it can be your partner. And a lot, some people do it, but a lot of people just don't find the time for themselves. And I suppose
Yeah.
sing at work, I wanted it to be like during the day, a little reminder, you can take this 30 minutes and have this time of self-care. So it's not
Yeah.
just singing. We want to, if you're in a job where you're on your feet all day, we might do some grounding techniques with you. We might do floor work with you. We might, do certain types of breathing with you. If you're in a very high pressure job, we'll do the same. But if you're in a very sort of kind of, a job where you're not moving much, then we'll do stretches with you that kind of energize you. So it's all very tailored to the person that comes to us for those 30 minutes. And it's not
I
just
love that.
singing. Yeah.
Yeah. And I suppose that really also helps you form the habit and kind of puts into your head, take time out, you know, have a little bit of a chill, and it will actually help you with your work.
Well, this is it.
Um,
You
yeah,
can, yeah, we can all do the workshop and we can all watch the webinar or the TED Talk, but as we know, people habits are long forming. You know, you have to spend the time and consistently repeat it to form it as a habit. So a lot
yeah,
of the times we have the
absolutely.
best intentions of implementing these great things, the breathing, the stretching, but we would be your little weekly reminder of these things and help you build these new habits to help
Yeah,
you in the workplace. And then one of the most, I love this part of Sing at Work, take it to the desk, is a part of Sing at Work where we can give you tools within your singing lesson to literally take back to work, implement in work to make your working life more productive and more enjoyable.
yeah. And what kind of tools would these be? Like, obviously, as you say, it's very tailored and individual for everyone. But as a kind of like, this is a possible kind of a few ideas or skills you can take back to the desk. What would you
So
say they are?
So if you're at a desk and you're hunched over a lot, we can give you little
Mm,
stretches to do to just make sure your posture is good and that you don't end the working day, you know, in pain. If you are a person who needs to use the phone a lot and communicate with people, we can give you techniques to help you improve your tone, improve your diction, improve your communication skills with people.
yeah,
So there's so much you can learn and take back to the desk, which is one of the big things we want to do with Sing at Work.
yeah. It's amazing. I think like it's such a great kind of like a simple idea in one way, but then also it just gives back so much to you. I think one of the interesting things is there has in the past been a lot of kind of like group singing activities that have gone into workplaces like choirs, like that would be quite common, whether it be in workplaces regularly or as a workshop. What was your kind of reason for choosing the one-on-one approach?
So choirs and group singing are a fantastic thing, and I love that so many companies in Ireland and workplaces have implemented these and fund them and invest in them for people. We just we just wanted to kind of take it to the next level. And the way I look at it is if you take one person and you invest in them and work on them, when you put all these people back together in a group, in my opinion, I think it just makes a far better group because everybody's at their own level then. Whereas when you
Yeah.
go into a group, you're never able to give everybody the time they need and what they need.
Mm,
So there's always people are always left with different levels of benefits in a group setting, I
absolutely.
find. So it was just to kind of take it to the next level and see could we sort of just build on what was there already.
Build. And I love the idea of it's like just so personable, like, and someone can just come in and like create these relationships with you as like we know as teachers ourselves, like, you know, they're very special relationships. And to have that contact with people once a week is just so amazing. What do you kind of see as like the future for it? Seems like I'm jumping way to the end, but I know Ross is going to kind of talk a little bit more about other aspects of the company. But for you, like what, as the person who kind of came up with the idea, what do you see as the future for Sing at Work at the moment?
I would love to see us be a part of a new era emerging in the workplace, a new type of office where we can be part of your office community and your office culture. So we are there
Hmm.
every week. We have our place for you and you see us and we we want to help the workplace community change into something that invests in the person,
Yeah,
gives the person the
yeah,
time in order to create the harmony in the community as we go on.
amazing. That's unreal. And I've been in the room with both you and Ross at the same time. And you have this like really fab rapport and great way of bouncing off each other and are really on the kind of same path. What was your reason for kind of like wanting to bring someone on to like bring this idea to fruition?
Do you know what? I was never thinking of somebody else. This is the God honest truth. You can ask Ross yourself. I met Ross for a panini. He was home from London. We had a panini, and I just mentioned to him that I had started to kind of do yoga and mindfulness and work with oils in my singing lessons with people, and I was finding it was completely transforming their singing. And then he said to me, "Oh, well, I've been doing this in London in offices with this company. I've been going in, I've been teaching CEOs, office workers, you name it, singing lessons, and it's
Yeah.
amazing." And then I just went, it just clicked. It kind of happened very organically. It was never a plan, and I just sort of looked and thought, this is the guy. So,
Awesome. I love that. And you're an amazing team. And I think you are going to bring this idea forward. And I think it's going to be fab. We're going to do something really bizarre now. And you're going to sign off. And when Sing at Work come back, it's going to be
okay.
the other half at Sing at Work. But stick around because we might bring you on at the end if we have a bit of time for the
Okay.
final question.
Okay. All right. Thanks so
Talk to you in a
much.
bit.
Thanks.
Oh, thank you. So we are switching guests now, which is really interesting. It'd be great if all three of us could be on the Instagram live, but it doesn't work like that. So now we are going to bring on the second half of Sing at Work. So Ross, if you are out there in the big bad world that is Instagram, if you could send me a little request. I think Ross has to switch over accounts because he was watching. Here we go. Nice and efficient. I love it. Go live with Sing at Work for the second time this evening. And we're just waiting. I love that both me and Lindsay curled our hair for the occasion. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
How are you?
So I got my actual quiff in. I worked on
Gorgeous.
it.
Yes. I love everyone's bringing the hair game today.
How are you?
I'm really good. How are
really
you?
Well, I'm good. Yeah, not too bad.
She's fab. She's so fab.
Yeah.
And we kind of started like touching on your guys' relationship towards the end of her her kind of segment, I suppose. But I'd love to kind of jump back and kind of talk about your background, where you kind of came from, and again with the same kind of approach to like you coming on board with this idea, and what in your career and in your life led you to be, I suppose, like ready for this new venture.
Yeah, so I was in London for nearly 10 years. I studied over there, or worked over there. And I had, sang quite regularly, have had a good career to date, singing wise. And I was looking for work in the UK when I lived over there, like everyone. Fearghal, you know what it was like in London,
Yes.
to pay our bills. And I got in contact with a company that brought music to offices, and I thought, oh, this is actually quite a cool idea, working with corporate clients and whatever. So I did a good stint with them and was teaching people one-on-one. So that was something that was kind of happening in the background, and it was really enjoyable experience, and people were getting a lot out of it that were working in really high pressure jobs kind of around Canary Wharf and central London, big banks, big kind of corporate companies. So I was home, I was flitting and flighting to and from London, and I met Lindsay, as she said, for a panini. We met over a panini, like we had the chat over panini.
I love that.
Yeah, and she was telling me about what was going on with her and her singing and stuff, and we knew each other from being in college in the DIT days. And as she was talking, I thought, geez, this sounds really familiar to what I'm already doing.
Yeah.
So I was telling her about, I've been doing this kind of, so she had the idea of that she wants to kind of tap into it. And I said, well, I've been kind of tapping into it through a company in London. And we were kind of bouncing ideas off each other, and it grew and grew over time. But I had my own kind of journey down with my singing before all this happened, and before I thought in the corporate world, where just kind of anxiety appeared out of nowhere for me. And anyone who knows me knows I'm like the happy-go-lucky, jolly, having the crack, the banter, and you would never maybe associate anxiety or panic with me.
You're like the Irish mammy. You look after everybody else.
Yeah, I mammy everybody else. And this just happened about 5 years ago. and the amazing Fiona O'Carroll, who I think I saw was on here.
Yeah, she came on
She
earlier.
kind of got me through this really quite a distressing time. Like, it wasn't dark or anything, but it was just an upsetting time for me. A lot of anxiety out of nowhere. And there was a lot of kind of transitions with my own life, my own work life and college life. And I ended up going for this incredible mindfulness course in London. And I did CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, which for people, if they don't know, it's about, you know, training the brain on how you deal with certain thoughts and compartmentalizing.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing I found was, because I was still working at the time and I was doing a production here in Dublin in the Olympic Theatre, and I was in the middle of this kind of panic. And the one thing I noticed was the build up to rehearsals, I was panicked. But when I was singing and I was in the moment, you were in the same production with me, I literally was so free and kind of relaxed, and I had no worries. And I thought, okay, there's something in this. Even though it was my job and it was my, you know, day-to-day thing that I would do, it still brought me escapism. So all these things kind of rolled up into one for me, working in the corporate world and my own experience of just kind of mental health and anxiety. It all matched really well. And then when me and Lindsay kind of fleshed things out over the last year, we've brought our own experiences from our teaching, because we both would teach. She's brought it from a really holistic side of things. I've brought it from a kind of, you know, personal, well, she's brought it from a personal side as well as I have. And then my experience of working in the corporate world in London.
Yeah, I love that. Lindsay was kind of chatting to us about the kind of one-on-one contact and how, you know, it's very common that there's kind of choirs and group singing and group activities, workshops, but you guys are kind of offering, this is one-on-one. We are going to be in the room with just you guys, and it's going to be all focused on you, which is absolutely amazing. I'd love for you to kind of tell us a little bit more about the benefits of those one-on-one lessons.
Okay, so benefits are like numerous for people. I think the biggest thing is that it's recognition for people. I don't know if Lindsay was talking about this, but working in a big corporate world or in a big office, a big company, you know, with a couple of thousand people on the floor, you can feel a little bit lost, or you're just a number. So recognition and being recognized by your employer, that's a big thing for people. To feel like, you know, they're being recognized on a day-to-day basis. Loads of things. We reduce stress. It's a new way of kind of using your brain. So you switch off from the mundane typing away and getting kind of tasks done at the screen, and you're using the more creative side of your brain. Great things for building communication with people one-on-one, because you're building a rapport with us, which you can bring into the corporate world. A continual progression. So like Lindsay said, we want to kind of become part of the family of a business or a company, and it'll be a continual progression that we'll have. So we won't just pop in and say, here's a load of things you can warm up to, and here's a few breathing exercises. We want to be that kind of friendly face and that friendly company that will be in the body and in the framework of a corporate build. And we are there as a sense of, you know, communication for people, an outlet for some people. It's a very emotive thing, singing. You know about this too. It's a very emotional thing. You know, you really bear yourself. There's a lot of vulnerability, a lot of trust, multitasking, which is something that you can bring into leadership qualities. Like I say, communication, coaching. They're getting coached from us, and if they can take on constructive criticism, that's something they can bring back into the corporate world. But I think the major benefit really is the escapism for people, removing themselves and just having that half an hour. And it's what I saw in London. People were like, they were out. I never had to go searching. When I used to teach young kids in schools, you'd have to go walking around the building to find them. Come on, you have a singing lesson. When I was working for this company in London, and I was teaching CEOs, like head people of companies, they were outside the door 5 minutes before, ready to go, eager. They just loved it, you know. It was a stress-free environment. There was no pressure. It was enjoyable. It was a safe environment to make mistakes, to explore music, and, you know, whether it be playing the piano that I taught them or singing. It was just something fresh and new and completely different to what is normally put into like the well-being packages within corporate companies. There's nothing wrong with them. They're great, well-being, all that kind of stuff. But we really feel that our unique selling point is we're one-on-one, and we can really, really focus in on the individual. That will then have a ripple effect on the wider circle within the company.
Yeah, I love that. And I just so agree with everything you're saying. I'd love to go back to the idea of you guys becoming part of the culture,
Yeah,
becoming part of the community, being that friendly face. So you're not kind of coming in and going, you know, hiya, how's it going? Right, I'm off. See you later. And they don't see you till
yeah.
the following week. Like, you're really a staple within that community. Like,
Mhm.
what do you think having this outside outlet being brought in, which I suppose it won't be an outside thing because you want to fuse it together, what do you think that that would do for an office space?
I think, one, it's bringing something new and fresh and innovative into the company. Like, our tagline was that we want to bring a new take on corporate well-being through the power of the human voice. That's what we
Hmm.
want to do. And I suppose we want to change people's minds and change the perception. We get a lot of people who say, oh God, I can't sing, or they're kind of, being scolded as a child not to sing out. Like, there's been
Yeah.
studies and research, like Deloitte in the UK, 80% of their staff that took a music program within the company felt more empowered, more recognized within their company. They were more productive, less sick days, more communication and camaraderie around the company. So there are
Wow.
elements that we want to offer to the company. But in terms of why we want to be a familiar face that people can think. We don't want to rock up with a company and intimidate people. Get up, stand there,
Absolutely.
saying. We want to really ease people in. And me and Lindsay are great crack, and we love having the banter, and we want that to be part of it.
Yes.
Like, there's an element within our company where we have pop-ups and we'll come in for team building and all. That's an element within it. But our real mission is to get in and become this regular, you know, rather than going for your cup of coffee or that kick at 3:30. Now I'm actually going to go for singing lesson and get all those endorphins and just enjoy myself and do what I want to do, whether I want to sing or breathe or talk or explore my voice or do some mindfulness within,
Yeah.
that element of the world. There's so many possibilities, and I think we really want to kind of bring a new trend of well-being to the
Yeah.
corporate world and bring that real uniqueness that we are so focused on the individual, and we will cater and we will do whatever we need to do to make it the best experience for them and to bring out the
Yeah.
best in them.
What an amazing, like, it's just such an amazing approach. And I think everyone should approach these things as, we will look after you. We're listening
Yeah,
to you.
like,
We're
it's a
going to
safe
talk to you.
environment. Yeah.
Yeah. And how
That,
exciting, like, the two previous guests I had, both of them talked about connection. And when
mm,
I'm like listening to you speak, I'm like, wow, you're just going to get the opportunity to connect with all these people whose brains might work differently, who, like, have come from a different background. And
mm.
that's kind of really exciting for you guys as well.
It's kind of amazing to think the potential that's out there. You know what I mean? Like, of what we can
Mm,
unlock in people, whether it be some confidence in people that are petrified to stand in front of their peers. We come from a performance background, me and you. Lindsay does. A lot of people, we're in that world. We're used to getting up in front of a group. But funnily enough, I always say to people, I find it more intimidating to sing in front of if you ask me to sing in front of a sitting room of 5 people or a theatre of 500 people, I'd go for the theatre because there's a bigger
absolutely.
space. You can kind of get lost in it.
Yeah.
So there's that intimidation for people who are, business mind. They have got their degree, they've worked their way up the ladder, but maybe the bit of anxiety's there, or they find it quite intimidating to talk in front of people. So if we can bring little gems or little nuggets of kind of like a survival kit for people, of things they can
Yeah.
draw on, of how to battle the nerves, how to combat kind of the anxiety with that, how to explore their spoken voice on the phone, as Lindsay was saying, or just to articulate a bit
I
better.
love it.
If you have
Yeah.
someone who's a bit monotone and they're trying to sell you, £1 million contract pitch, I think they go more for a person who had conviction and confidence and a bit more colour in their
Yeah.
spoken voice, because they're drawn in by it. They trust in that person, and we want
Yeah.
people to really believe in themselves. And hopefully, we'll unlock things that people haven't discovered. Like, I had people in London, and it would be quite an emotive thing. You'd unlock things, or music can trigger a lot of memories for people. That sense, where you like smell a perfume, or you'll hear a song, it'll automatically bring you back or teleport you back. So hopefully, it
Yeah.
unlocks something for people, and it's a very comforting and therapeutic
Yeah.
way of using their well-being sessions.
I had this thought when you were speaking there. I was like, of you like unlocking things, of your voice becoming more expressive, of all these things. I was like, oh my God, people could find like relationships from this. People could like expand their friendships. People could like
Yeah,
find you
we could
like
have
there's
you can let the exclusive out for the first Sing at Work wedding or the first Sing at Work baby
yeah.
if it ever happens along the way.
Oh my God, I
Yeah, we'll have
just
them
love
doing
that.
duets. Yeah,
Yeah.
the
Now,
possibilities are endless.
endless, and I love that about this company, and I just think these are going to grow and grow, and like you never know what's going to happen. However, you were put like back a little bit. You had a little bit of an obstacle. You guys
Yeah.
were meant to launch a lot sooner than you did
Mm.
because I don't know if anyone's heard, we're in a world pandemic. No one's
We
really
have
talking
Rona.
about it.
Rona.
Rona's on like kind of call. So you guys have had to like come up with your whole company, your whole business ready to go. And it's like, no, actually, you can't. How have you guys adapted? Because you are launching now and you have been working with these businesses.
Yeah.
How have you adapted? And also, do you still get that connection?
Yeah, very good question. I think actually it was a bit of a blessing in disguise when it happened because it's really given us time to distill down the model and distill down the core beliefs and benefits and um, the true kind of essence of what the company is and where we want it to go. It's actually made us a lot more accessible to people and a lot more international. We've had interest from companies in the UK and further afield. So that's something that we were thinking, maybe down the line. But
Yeah,
it's kind of pushed us into an area where we're accessible and we're online. Okay, we're not in person, but my God, the benefits are just as good. You're still getting that one-on-one time. You're still getting that escapism. The biggest thing that people have noticed that are working with us at the moment, it's so monotonous, the days. Like, I still can't believe we're in
yes.
January. People are working from home. You have a lot of these people that have young families and they're homeschooling. You might have your husband in the spare room, you're in the kitchen, kids in the sitting room trying to work. It's all a bit too much for people. And we have
Hmm.
a number of clients that it is their one bit of escapism in the day. And we still get that connection. We still have all the same tools. The only slight difference is maybe, we can't accompany live on the spot because of the slight delay. But there's ways around that. We have tracks for people and we have pre-recorded stuff and all our resources and materials. But it's actually been a good thing because we've really looked at the branding of our target audience who we want to reach. It's just given us time to get really small details
Yeah.
perfect. So when we launch in next week and we have our soft launch, that there's no kind of, oh God, why didn't we do that? We have crossed every T, dotted every I,
Love
and
that.
we've been on 5 million Zooms in the last few weeks. But it's after every Zoom, there's another kind of tightening of the cogs
Yeah.
of the machine, and the machine is almost ready to go.
I'm so
It is
excited.
going, but
It's
it's to
going.
launch it out to the world. It's practically there.
Yeah, and let's talk about the soft launch next week. I
Yeah.
feel like I'm getting the scoop from Sing at
You're
Work.
getting the official. So next week is our soft launch. So we're inviting everyone and anyone, companies, we're sending our brochure out to people by the end of the week. And we're inviting everyone. We're going to have a bit of a live like this Q&A, mini kind of webinar Q&A where we're going to talk about the company, what we stand for, and give a few kind of basic tips and tools for people of how they can work with us and what we would kind of offer them throughout our company. We have some of our clients who are going to come on and talk to us and tell us about their experience.
Unreal.
And we also have one lovely client who's going to do a mini little lesson, because the interesting thing is a lot of people are very intrigued by our company, but they don't necessarily know how the model works. So they're thinking, how does one-on-one work? You were talking about the choirs earlier, which are amazing. And you know how that works. It's a group of people in a room, however, choirs aren't really working on Zoom at the moment. So we just need to show people how it works in a way. And just an opportunity for people to ask us questions and us to answer them, as clearly as we can. So that's next Tuesday evening. So keep an eye on our social media. We will be launching all that. And then next Friday, we've come up with this idea called cocktail sing-along hour. So we're actually going to have a lovely
I'm
cocktail
ready.
at the
I'm
ready.
ready.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have a nice whiskey sour.
Lovely.
And we're going to have a bit of a sing-along so people can kind of chill, put their feet up, have a nice homemade cocktail, non-alcoholic or alcoholic, after a long week, and a bit of a sing-along and a bit of crack next week. And then also we are in Life magazine for the Irish Independent this Sunday. So that's actually a big thing for us. It was an amazing interview that we had, and we actually gave the journalist a one-on-one session, which went on forever. We could have done probably 2 hours with her, and she instantly felt benefits of it, and she really enjoyed it. So that's actually going to be a big platform for us, for people. So get Life magazine on Sunday in the Irish Independent.
Unreal. I love it. I always kind of finish off with a question, and we'll probably have time to bring Linsey back on to answer in her own words as well. The arts mean to you and the world, and I suppose in particular for you guys, coming from the point of view of bringing the arts to people who maybe don't feel like, oh, I'm not really an artist. I believe everyone's an artist. I believe everyone's creative. But for you guys, bringing an art form to people who mightn't have the opportunity or the time to explore an art form, what does the arts mean to you, the world, and to all these people who are going to experience it through Sing at Work?
Wow, good question. The arts, to me, I get a lot of freedom with the arts, and I feel a lot of inclusion. I have an amazing family of musical friends that I would, class almost as family. And I think for people who are going to experience this in the corporate world, it's something that they'll have never experienced before. And the elation, the absolute elation and joy that you get from it. But I think for me, arts is a real sense of finding that creative. We all have this creative energy and these creative tools that we maybe don't utilize on a daily basis. And even me in my own singing world, there's certain things that I still have yet to discover. And I think there's this amazing journey for anyone that's involved in the arts. There's a freedom, and that's what I love about it. It's non-judgmental. When you are doing your own thing and you're lost in the world of music. There's something really profound about that, and I think that's what people are going to get out of it. Inclusion, where everyone's accepted, color, creed, race, sexuality, anything. It's inclusion for everyone. No one's kind of shunned or no one's turned away. But the freedom, and I suppose finding an honesty within yourself as well, and digging deep, and unleashing emotions. We all have, pent-up emotions, especially in the last year. My God, with everything that's happening. It's a release for people that they wouldn't a chance they wouldn't normally get. So that's my kind of take on the arts. Freedom, inclusion, and everything else lovely that goes with it.
I absolutely love that. I love these answers. They're my favorite answers to listen to, how people actually feel about the arts. It's just so incredible. And thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having us. You're very
You
good.
are more than welcome. If Linsey's there, if she wants to throw a little comment in to say that she'd love to pop back on to say kind of what she feels about the arts, I'd love to hear from her. But guys, I've just loved having you on, and I've loved giving people this insight as to a different approach. It's not so much about you guys as artists, but it's something that you've created, that you're going to bring the arts to people, and it's so exciting. Linsey's just said yes, so I might bring you on the Singing Lady page. Linsey's the Singing Lady. So we can kind of sign off here, Ross. I'll bring Linsey back on to hear her answer.
Amazing. And Fearghal, thank you. And thank you for this platform. Let's Talk About the Arts is incredible. I've heard the podcast. I've heard the interviews. It's so important, more now than ever, that we support the community of the arts. And what you're doing, you do not realize you're making a massive difference in people's lives. So keep it up. And thank you so much. And we all love you. We love Let's Talk About
I love you, and I love everybody. So much love. We love the love.
I'll jump off and I'll let Linsey hop back
Jump off. Let's bring Linsey on.
Bye. Chat to you later.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, we wait for Linsey to kind of drop me a little request there. All these interviews are actually going up on the new YouTube channel. Let's Talk About the Arts YouTube channel. So they all will kind of go up on Fridays. So if anyone wants to go back and watch on a different platform, or if you want to share it with a couple of people, they're just such interesting and great chats. let me see if Lindsay has sent a request. I'll send her one. Oh, she says she can't, but I've just sent you one, Lindsay. Oh, there we go. Hi.
Hi, wasn't Ross fabulous?
You're both fabulous. You're both fabulous. But I'm so glad that I can bring you back on to ask you the same question, because it's such a simple question, but has so many answers, and you'd get a different, anyone in this chat right now could answer this question and it'd be different, but I think everyone can relate with it. Lindsay, what do the arts mean to you and to the world? And like I said to Ross, in particular, with you guys bringing the arts to people.
So for me, it means being seen and being heard for what and who you really and truly are. That's what the art means to me.
I love that. I love that. And just think of the amount of people who are going to have the opportunity to learn who they are from working with you guys. It's going to be so awesome. Oh, thank you so much for coming on.
Fearghal, thank you. Thank you to you, and let's talk about the arts. You are an inspiration.
Oh
thank you.
Oh my
so
God,
much.
stop. Thank you. And thank you for joining me in having a few curls for this evening. Have a gorgeous evening. Thank you so much, my love.
You too. Thank you.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.
And thank you, everybody, for kind of joining us today. I'll be back next week, episode 4. Let's talk about the arts. Instagram live series. I've got a fabulous guest next week. You'll absolutely love her. Sending you loads of love, and yeah, I hope everyone has a great evening. Bye.